Yo, what's up? How are you guys? How you guys been? It's been a minute, but I needed to take some personal time, but I'm back and looking forward to hanging out with you guys again. But today, I wanted to talk to you guys about weights and why you might want to put one on your board. Okay, but first, before you guys roast me, I just need to do some self-roasting. Obviously, the way I've done this is very ghetto, is very trash. Number one, the weights aren't center at all. I don't know how much they weigh really, and then I did 3 holes. So look, it's terrible, yeah, but I wanted to do this as quickly as I could. I didn't want to have to go into a supermarket, buy a hammerhead for like 2,000 shillings or whatever, and then have to re-drill it and do all of that. I just wanted a really simple thing. This is made from scrap. This is a board that I barely use, and yeah, so that's why it's so ugly. Okay, so why weights? So there's been a great trend of people putting weights under the boards, and these weights range from half a kg to a full kg, or sometimes more in weight, and they put them in varying distances from the front truck. Now, why do they do this? So I don't know the scientific reason. I'm not the guy to explain that to you, but basically what it does, it turns these small wheelbase downhill boards and makes them much better at doing stand-up slides. And do they actually make stand-up slides easier? The answer, in my experience, from things I've tried with this board, even as trash as it is yes. In actuality, what happens is it feels like your board gets more center, and more center allows you to balance a lot easier in the stand-up slide. However, with this more center, it definitely feels like there's more inertia when you're trying to get off the center and dive quickly into a turn. Your board feels less nimble, and I felt like I had to do more of an exaggeration when it came to kicking out my board into the slide, pushing it out into breaking traction. And I felt like I really had to do this a lot with toe sides. Heel sides, it wasn't really a problem. And I also had to do a little bit of unlearning. With the stand-up slides, it felt like I didn't have to lean as much off the board. It felt like the board wanted to keep going into the slide, and it didn't have to lean to force it to keep going, right? I had to be more on top of the board, and I had to do more of pushing my weight into my toes and into my heels rather than leaning off. It was really weird, and it was, especially the toe sides, I had to do a lot of unlearning. But once I figured it out, it was super nice, and I started to gain more and more confidence. The other thing is that it made doing stand-up slides with sharp-lipped wheels a lot easier. What it felt like is that it took away the lippy feel. How do I describe this? Initiation into the slides was smoother and there was less chattering. And I really felt this with these wheels and with other square-lipped wheels as well. Without the weight, I had to do more of really planting my weight into the board to make sure these broke into traction smoother. But with the weight, they break into traction smoother time and again. The other really cool thing that I found was a massive advantage with having the weight on the board is that your pushing becomes really good. You become such a pushing beast. Like after skating this heavy ass board, when I went to my normal downhill board, I was able to push much quicker, and yeah, I just thought that was really neat. But it's not just as simple as strapping a weight onto your board, there's some different things that you need to consider, such as the distance from your truck to where the weight is, how far you want the weight to be from the board. Fortunately, some manufacturers like Rocket Longboards and Scythe Trucks, I believe, are making weights that you can just buy, and I think they have drilling kits as well, or drilling outlines or something like that to tell you where to drill. But it definitely does make a difference with where you drill, and it definitely affects how the board feels in the slide. Quick shout out to Bumpy Hills. He has a really nice Thrill magazine article about weights and how to set it up. I'll link it in the description. So basically, if you have your weight really close to the front truck, you're going to have a slide that wants to rotate into 180 degrees a little bit easier. And if you have the weight farther back, closer to the middle, you'll have a slide that wants to stay under 90 degrees more. I tend to over-rotate my slides, especially my toe sides, so having something that helps me keep it under 90 degrees is very useful. Another thing I really want to add is that, hey, if your board isn't actually dialed in already and you're not doing decent stand-up slides, this isn't going to be a cheat code. You put it on, then you're suddenly going to be able to do huge stand-up slides. No, you still need to set up your board properly. You still need to be a competent skater. It just makes skating a board like this for freeride a lot easier. But it's not a cheat code, but Okay, it is if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know, there's still going to be a considerable learning curve. And finally, are there any disadvantages to running weights? Number one for me has to be it takes away some nimbleness from your board. For stand-up slides, freeride, I didn't really feel like this was an issue, but for hands-down slides, this really messed me up or messed up how I'm used to my board. That nimbleness and that twitchiness that it takes away, I'm used to it, and it allows me to kick the board out into a slide aggressively and to get that aggressive hookup out of the slide as well. So with that missing, I didn't feel very comfortable doing hands down stuff on that board. I really didn't enjoy it at all. However, there is someone in Norway who has a really lightweight board made from carbon and I think fiberglass, and he said that having the weight really helped him smooth out his slides and it made it better for him when it comes to doing hands down stuff. So I think your mileage might vary. The other disadvantage is that you have to drill a hole in your nice downhill board. If you like your board, you drill a hole in it and then you end up not liking weights. Like, kinda sucks, not gonna lie. That said, chances are you probably do know what you're doing if you're gonna drill a hole in your nice downhill board. And the last thing to be wary of is apparently this doesn't work on bigger freeride boards with like 160mm trucks with wheelbases above, let's say 22-23 inches. I didn't try it. I'm not that interested in trying it. I've drilled enough holes in enough boards. But yeah, apparently it doesn't work. It doesn't work that well. So, you need a specific type of board to make the most out of it. So, yeah. I hope that as a video has been informative. Sorry for not posting for a while. I'm going through a crisis of what the fuck I want to do in my life. But I still want to make content for you guys because I appreciate you as an audience. So yeah, anyway, hope this was enjoyable. Hope it's good enough information to help you decide whether you want to try weights or not. Highly recommend it if you definitely want to do freeride on your small downhill board with narrow downhill trucks. And yeah, y'all take care. Talk to you guys soon.